everybody, welcome to a new video. In today's video I would like to talk a little bit about the Keelin Dress from Designer Stitch. It's a pattern that I think is really on trend. I see this all over the place in the stores, in the ready-to-wear, and I think it's a great pattern to have on your hand, you know, for all kind of drapey fabrics. So by this you know that I really love it. The Keelin Dress. I made there are a few options in this pattern. So for the neck you have the standard neck and the scoop neck, so a little bit lower than this. There are options for a double layered on the dress and a single layer for the top, of course, otherwise it will look a little bit crazy to have two ruffles on the top, but it can be done, of course. For the sleeves you also have three options for the sleeve. One with a gathered elastic, a short sleeve with a single ruffle, and there is also the sleeve with a cuff and a bias binding slit finished. So my dress is with a single ruffle, with a standard neck, with the placket, with the bias placket and the cuff, with a button. And let me see, I made a few fit changes for this. I started with a size 3B, which these days seems like my size on the Designer Stitch patterns, and based on that I made a few changes, which I very handy wrote them on a post-it and pinned it on my pattern for later. So based on this I can see that I had to lower my dart by 1 centimeter. I also shortened my shoulder seam 1 centimeter. Also change that I always do, almost always, on woven patterns. I don't have that so much with the knit patterns, with the knit block from Designer Stitch, but on the woven I do. So I shortened this by 1 centimeter. And I also had to make a sway back here, and by 2 centimeters. That is a standard change for me that I do also in the knit patterns. So the sway back, and I also took 5 centimeters from the length of the bodice. So I made so the whole dress got 5 centimeters shorter, and nothing from the ruffle because I really liked the length of the ruffle, so I only changed the length of the dress. And also I took 5 centimeters from the sleeve length. I never like my sleeves too long. Of course, to make all these changes I had to make a test garment, which is this one. It's a little bit wrinkly, but this was my my test garment. It's very pretty rayon, very drapey and thin, but you know, to make these changes I will have to take it apart, so I don't know if I want to do that. But of course I do recommend, if you make, I recommend this anyway, in any pattern you make for the first time, make a test garment. It will spare you some ugly words. So make a garment, make a test garment in a fabric you don't really like, or I don't know, something that you can afford to destroy it. Because thinking on the changes I made on this one, you can imagine my shoulder. My shoulder is here. This one was really hanging from my shoulder, and it was really too long. Also the sleeves were too long. Of course there are things that you can measure ahead before you are cutting your real dress, if you don't want to make a test garment, but you'll never get the perfect idea on how the garment is going to fit you if you don't make a test garment in fabric. So also the sway back, it was very well to be seen in my test garment, and I knew that I had to make it for my final
So
garment.
after all these changes were made on my pattern, I could go on and start on my real dress. I had quite a few options for my dress, and I have those options still, because I'm going to make for sure another dress of other dresses with this pattern. One thing to mention again is that this pattern does come with cup sizing. So if you have cup size, the standard is B, but if you have C, D of double D, you'll also get those pieces in your pattern. I had quite a few options for this, and I think I'm going to show them to you a little bit later in a moment. I'm going to talk about this one. This one is rayon. It does have a bit of body, but it's really very drapey, as you can see. It's very soft, and I knew that it's going to be perfect for the ruffle at the hem. So with that in mind, I did expect to be a little bit difficult to handle, and it was really. Also when cutting, I used my rotary cutter, and I have here on my table a big 3 mats, actually 3 cutting mats that are stick together, and on the table next to each other. So I use my rotary cutter and weights to put the pattern pieces and cut around, because this one was very shifty and it was moving a lot and getting out of shape. So after I had everything cut out, I tried to not to handle too much the pieces, because there was the risk to stretch everything out. And I think one of the most important things when working with this kind of fabrics is, of course, avoiding to handle the pieces too much because of the stretching, and also stay stitching the curved edges like the neckline and the armholes. I think it's very important not to try this garment if it's not stay stitched, because then everything is going to go out of shape, and even with a lot of steaming probably you'll not get it back. Also, of course, when stay stitching, so after you cut your pieces, just stay stitch the neckline, starting from the shoulder to the center back, turn, and then start again to the center back, to the center I mean, and then from the other side, from the shoulder to the center. Always come from the shoulder to the center, and at the back the same, from the shoulder to the center back. And keep in mind to handle the piece very soft. And if you are not sure, and if you think that something did get out of shape or something like that, take your paper pattern piece and lay it on the fabric and see how it's looking. Maybe with a little steam you can get it back in shape. The back is finished with a slit and a small loop and a button. And for this one I chose to stitch the pieces right sides together, and then on the inside I just turned a little bit of the seam allowance under and head stitch, and then I have a nice center back seam, because the seam needs to be pressed open in order to be able to make this nice slit here for the back. And then we have of course the ruffle, and this is quite a big piece of fabric. Of course it's doubled. You have side seams here, and the best is the way I'm doing it, I'm sewing the pieces together, and then I'm sewing 2 rows of gathering stitches. I'm starting from one side seam and I stop to the other one, and I do another row, and then on the other piece again 2 rows of top stitching. I think it's really easy to do like that, and then to sew around just 2 rows of of gathering stitches I mean, and then it's really difficult to gather everything. Also very important, I always mark the center of my ruffle to meet and to match with the center front center back, and then I know that I will have equal parts of fabric gathered on every half of the garment. So also the hem, of course, I cannot really remember, but of course you can do the hem on the ruffle before you attach it to the dress. It's really much easier than stitch it all the dress around. And
also here are the bust darts that they are shown, and for the sleeves, of course, this being such a drapey fabric and moving around is also requiring a little bit of interfacing in the cuffs. And if I'm not wrong, I interfaced both sides of the cuff. And first I am attaching I attached the bias banding, which I made myself on that small slit you need to make in the sleeve, and then the cuff first to the outside and then to the back. I turn it to the back, and I'm using here the same method you can use by when you attach a collar on a shirt, you know, that back method of the burrito method, to get a very nice edge here, exactly at the edge of the cuff. And of course you have two small pleats. I think it's very cute, and I made a red buttonhole to have just a fun detail on the sleeve. So yeah, other than that, the neckline is also finished with a strip of bias binding. I also made it myself, and then so it's getting stitched doubled, and then you turn it to the inside and the top stitch, and get a very light and very nice neckline. And of course the dress can be worn without any belt, but I think I like it more belted. You can see me in a small modeling video. I'll pop it up here in the video, and you can see how the dress is looking when worn. With that being said, I have here a few more options for future dresses or even tops. And I really have this one for a very long time already in my stash, and I think it's a crepe. It does have a little bit of stretch, but I think it's really it's just a bit, and I think it will not interfere with my garment, with this pattern, even if this is for woven and not for stretch wovens. So this is one I think is really gorgeous. I have it already for a very long time in my stash. Imagine this with a very nice gathered ruffle. So this is an option. This is just a little bit heavier than what I used in the dress here. And of course I have, and these are only a few options from my stash. These are actually new. These florals on a black background. And I think I can even make here something like you see these days, all those combinations of prints. So let's say that I could use the big florals for the bodies, and then the smaller ones for the ruffle. I think is very nice, and for the ruffle and for the cuffs also. And these are also all very drapey rayon fabrics. Here I have another one. Also this one is very soft, and I think it could be very nice. I think in the cap it's looking very bright, but actually the colors are not so bright. And of course possibilities to put them together. And I have here another one. This one is also very cute, on a denim blue background with a nice I don't know, abstract flowers. I think it's a very nice option for Keelin. And this one is not going to become a Keelin because it's looking very much like this one, but I think it's also very nice. You can imagine even this one combined with the ruffle from the, I think it's looking nice, and with the accents to be made by the cuffs of the sleeves. It's also very cool rayon. All these ones, I think they are both from my fabric guy in Almere in the Netherlands, and this one is coming from Drapey, from an old stock. It has been in my stash for a while. And this crepe is also from Ahmad from the Netherlands.
So with that being said, I hope you got a little bit of inspiration from this video. I do recommend the Keelin Dress because it gives you a very nice top of a very nice base for variations on a simple dress. And I think because the pattern is pretty simple, you can go really crazy with fabrics and you can really show off very, very nice prints and colors. And also combining them, take a look at the Pinterest board that is made for this dress, and you'll be amazed how much inspiration you'll get there. In terms of fabrics, of course, very drapey fabrics, very soft, not too thick, because they need to be gathered in a lot of gathers here at the hem. And also, if you make the sleeve with the elastic in the here at the waist, you have here much volume, so you cannot use something very bouncy and very I don't know, thick or something like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget you can subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos, and soon it will come here a series of videos for as a small tutorials for an upcoming pattern from Designer Stitch. I can only say that is a ponte dress, and if you follow me on Instagram on at Calcedonia Sewing, you'll see there, if you look at it back, a very cool color blocked ponte dress, and I made a few short videos for that, for different steps on the dress. And very soon, when the dress is going to be released, I'm going to show you my 3 versions I've made. It's a really cool dress. You'll really love it, I'm pretty sure. I have a stack of ponte that is ready to be sewn. So don't forget, subscribe to my channel, put your notifications on, and you'll be the first one to know when the new videos are getting uploaded. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up for the video, please, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!